America has a very diverse population, and because of America's great diversity, people with the same education applying for the same job but are different regarding race, religion, or gender can receive different wages. The prime example of the wage gap is portrayed with a man and a woman. For every dollar a man earns, a woman only earns 77 cents. But let's go into more detail. Compared with white men, African American and Hispanics make even less than white women. To put it in another way, when a white man is paid $65,000, a Latina woman only earns $35,100. When a white man is paid $120,000, a Native American woman only gets $70,800. It should be known that there is almost no occupation free of the wage gap. Cooks, doctors, CEOs, people in the entertainment industry, etc., all experience some sort of pay gap. However, some say that the pay gap is just a myth. The employers are not biased when giving out salaries. It's the fault of the woman for not doing her job as well as her male counterparts, resulting in a lower wage. Some others say that the research conducted is skewed, making the gap more dramatic and causing more panic. However, there is little proof that that is true. So the question lies, do girls need to work harder, or is there actually a wage gap? I think it's a little bit of both. Here's something Heidi Hartman from the Institute for Women's Policy Research had to say about the wage gap.
Looking at the wage gap, women were only earning 60% of what men earn. Now they're earning about 80% of what men earn. That's, pretty good progress for 40 years. But in the last 10 years, they haven't closed that gap.
So why is this something President-elect Donald Trump and Congress should worry about? We have made progress in closing the wage gap. However, like Heidi said, in the past 10 years, the wage gap has not improved. That's why I think the President and Congress should take some action to close the gap. But this is not the only reason why I want the government to do something about the wage gap. When we look at issues, we often start with the big ones, such as debt, terrorism, homeless or jobless rates. What if these big annoying problems could be solved with multiple small ones? And what if one of those small issues was closing the wage gap? Equality between men and women is vital for the creation of quality jobs. Companies will be able to recruit and keep the best employees, create positive work environments, and have confident employees while making the best use of productivity and competitiveness. It also makes the company's public image look better and appeal to a wider range. A better use of a woman's skills allows her to contribute better to the economy. However, most importantly, closing the gender pay gap promotes social justice and equal opportunities. The risk percentage for women over age 65 to recede into poverty is 22%, while men over the age of 65 only have a risk of 16%. If we could close the gap, wouldn't the homeless rate decrease? Closing the wage gap could also reduce a few other annoying numbers as well. In the past, presidents have done executive action to close the wage gap. For example, the Equal Pay Act. Although the government has tried to close the wage gap, I don't think more laws are the most efficient ways to solve the problem. Instead, I believe that educating people is the best way. If young girls and boys learn that everyone is capable of being equal and no gender is superior over the other, then the wage gap just might disappear. I also believe parents and teachers should bring up children without stereotypes. So maybe this isn't the best way, but that's why I think we need politicians to solve the problem and teach us a better way. However, we don't want wages to be given out unfairly just to close the wage gap. We want to keep young girls afloat so they can achieve their dreams and not have to work harder than their male counterparts to receive a wage lesser than them. Senator Jeanne Shaheen was also interested in this issue. Here's something she emailed me. Clearly, pay discrimination was one of her big concerns. She was one of the original co-sponsors of the Paycheck Fairness Act, which would strengthen protections against pay discrimination. She also noted that in the year before she signed a law that would prohibit gender-based pay discrimination, women in New Hampshire made 69% of their male colleagues' wages. The laws Senator Jeanne Shaheen signed have certainly led great change to the wage gap in New Hampshire, but maybe those laws don't have enough of an impact to completely eradicate New Hampshire of the problem. So what should we do to ensure that little Susie has her dreams come true? I hope that when I grow up and start looking for a job, every job will be presented with equal pay opportunity. This is why I believe we need the President and Congress to address and solve the issue by promoting awareness through education and making tighter regulations on how wages are given out.